When shopping around for a beginner, relatively inexpensive sim racing wheel with force feedback, the Logitech G29 and G920 and the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX are some of the most popular choices, and if you ask me, they're also the best bang for your buck wheels available today. But between Logitech and Thrustmaster's offerings, which one is actually better? As I'm going to be comparing and giving you all my final answer regarding which one I would choose, it's important for me to mention that this video hasn't been sponsored nor endorsed by Logitech nor Thrustmaster in any way. I went out and purchased these wheels myself, and I've used them both thoroughly and will be giving you all my unfiltered, unbiased thoughts. If you want to know more about either of these wheels, I've also made separate, far more in-depth reviews on them both, so feel free to check those out. To begin, I will quickly explain some very important details about these wheels that are essential to know if you're seriously considering them. You see, on Logitech's side we have the G920 and G29. These both retail for around $200 to $230 nowadays. So what's the difference between them? Well, the G920 is compatible with Xbox and PC, whereas the G29 is compatible with PlayStation and PC. The other main difference is on their appearance, as they look a tad different. The important thing to note is that regardless of their differences in design and console compatibility, they both have the exact same internal mechanisms and thus perform the same on track. It's really just a matter of whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox, and if you're on PC, just choose whichever you think looks nicer. I personally prefer the G29, but that's just my opinion. On Thrustmaster's side, the situation is almost identical with just one more added step. You see, at $200, Thrustmaster offers the T150 and the TMX. Here, the T150 is compatible with PlayStation and PC, and the TMX is compatible with Xbox and PC. Again, they look a little different from a design perspective, but they both have the same internal mechanisms, which means they perform the same in-game. The difference with Thrustmaster's offerings is that for an additional $50, they offer pro versions of these wheels. So for $250, you receive the exact same wheel as you would at the non-pro models, but you will receive the T3PA pedal set instead of the default pedals that come with the non-pro models. So with all that in mind, in terms of this exact video, although I currently only have the Logitech G29 and Thrustmaster T150, my comments will equally apply to the Logitech G920 and Thrustmaster TMX. Hopefully y'all are still with me, and that made at least some sense. Anyways, let's finally get into it. Since this is a comparison video and not necessarily an in-depth review on them both, I'll start off by highlighting the advantages of the Logitech wheels, then the advantages of the Thrustmaster wheels, and end by explaining which one I think is best. So here are all of the ways I think the Logitech G29 and G920 are superior to the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX. Logitech's wheels, simply put, have a nicer overall build quality. With genuine leather hand-stitched throughout the wheel, it looks and feels miles better than the simple rubber around Thrustmaster's offerings. Moreover, it features a steel center plate which glistens under light and makes the wheel look and feel of much higher quality than the plastic center plate of the T150 and TMX. Due to the massive popularity of these wheels, there are a ton of third-party modifications available for all of Logitech's wheels, pedals, and even the shifter. While the same can be said about Thrustmaster's, I've without a doubt seen a far greater amount of mods made available for Logitech's wheels. If you want an H-pattern shifter to level up your sim racing experience, Logitech offers the driving force shifter for $60. This will plug in directly to either the G29 or G920 and you'll be good to go. Thrustmaster also offers an H-pattern shifter of their own, the TH8A, which is of much higher quality, but it's also a lot more expensive at around $180. So to get a manual experience using Logitech's wheels, you'll only be spending around $60. With the TMX and the T150, you'll be dropping about 3 times that. I know what some of you are wondering, wait, can't you just buy a Logitech shifter and use it with the Thrustmaster wheel? Unfortunately not, because the Logitech shifter is specifically made to only work with their wheels. This next point is only applicable if you have the Logitech G29. The G29 has a rev indicator at the top of the wheel which will indicate when it's time to upshift. While not necessarily groundbreaking, it's a cool touch that Thrustmaster doesn't offer at this price point, although you should note that the Logitech G920 does not have this. When compared to the non-pro versions of the Thrustmaster TMX and T150, the pedals are far superior in Logitech's offerings. They come with a clutch pedal, metal pedal plates which are slightly adjustable, whereas the default pedals in the non-pro Thrustmaster wheels come with a pretty pathetic all-plastic 2-pedal pedal set which feels like it's meant for children under 12.
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
In terms of durability, I can't speak off personal experience as both of these have performed perfectly fine for me. But from what I've heard and read, and what I think most people will likely agree with, is that Logitech's offerings are more durable and will last longer than Thrustmaster's. But again, that's just what I've heard and I cannot confirm nor deny based on personal experience. The Logitech G29 and G920 offered hard mounting on the wheel and pedal set, whereas for whatever reason the Thrustmaster TMX and the T150 do not have hard mounting solutions on the wheel. What this means is that if you have a dedicated sim-racing wheel stand or cockpit, the Logitech wheels can be easily and securely attached with bolts, whereas you have to rely on the table clamp that comes with the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX. Since these are beginner wheels, which for the most part won't be used with cockpits or wheel stands, it's not a big deal for most, but it was for someone like myself. The G29 and G920 have some very notable cable management indents which are not present in Thrustmaster's offerings. This will allow you to more discreetly manage your cables. This isn't a big deal, I'll admit, but it's notable nonetheless. Now it's time to talk about the advantages of Thrustmaster's offerings. Here are all of the ways the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX are superior to the Logitech G29 and G920. Single-handedly, the biggest advantage of the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX is that they offer stronger and more precise force feedback. Housing a mixed belt pulley and gear force feedback mechanism allows this to happen and exerts more performance than the gear mechanisms within the Logitech wheels. Overall, from my experience, I could feel more precision and was able to set the resistance higher on the T150 and TMX than I ever could in the Logitech G29 and G920. On the topic of force feedback, the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX not only offer greater performance, but are also quieter than the G29 and G920, which love to clunk around and alert your neighbors that you're hot lapping the Nordschleife again.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Could y'all do me a quick favor and consider pressing the like button? It helps you to promote this video to more people and it helps my channel grow, but if you don't want to, I guess that's okay. Not really.
Now back to our show.
This next one only applies to the T150 and not the TMX. Whereas the Logitech G29 and G920 only have a maximum wheel rotation of 900 degrees, the T150 can go all the way up to 1080, making it ideal for truck simulators and other such games. Unfortunately, the TMX can only go up to 900 degrees however. Going with Thrustmaster's offerings will give you more options in terms of their ecosystem. Being a sim racing hardware manufacturer, Thrustmaster also offers load cell pedals, handbrakes, sequential shifters, H-pattern shifters, and other things that can be used with the T150 and TMX.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, lamb, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat, you name it.
Whereas Logitech only offers their H-pattern shifter as an add-on. But now that I think about it, I think you could also use a lot of those add-ons alongside a Logitech wheel, so I slightly take that back. The paddle shifters in the T150 and TMX not only look better, but also more satisfying pressed down as they have a slightly more tactile click to them. If you go with the pro versions of the T150 and TMX, the T3PA pedals are superior to the Logitech ones which have a very stiff brake. The Thrustmaster wheel comes with a separate table clamp which tightly maintains the wheel in place and from my experience did a better job than the table clamps that come integrated in the G29 and G920. Finally, if it matters to you, the TMX and T150 are also slightly newer than the G29 and G920 which were released back in 2015. In terms of any similarities between the Logitech and Thrustmaster wheels, here they are. At around 11 inches in diameter, both wheel rims are almost identical in size. Moreover, at around the $200 to $250 price point, they retail for very close amounts. Although remember that the non-pro versions of the Thrustmaster wheels cost $200, whereas the pro versions, which I highly recommend, cost $50 more. The final similarity I could think of are these wheels' popularity. While some could argue that the Logitech wheels are slightly more popular, these two are easily some of the most mass market wheels which most sim racers have or have had at one point or another. Now for the part that all of you have been waiting for and some of you just skipped to, which would I actually choose? Honestly, with all things considered, I think the Logitech G29 and G920 are superior. It's an overall better package that mixes a good blend of performance with build quality. Sure, the Thrustmaster offerings offer slightly more force feedback, but it also severely lags behind in overall quality compared to the leather wrapped wheel, steel faceplate, and standard 3-pedal pedal set that Logitech offers. So between a little more force feedback but an overall cheap looking wheel versus a good looking but slightly less capable wheel, I choose the latter. But hey, those are just my opinions and many people will and will not agree, which is totally fine. At the end of the day, we all have different wants and needs when it comes to our setups. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do you agree or do you disagree with me, and why? Also, are there advantages that the Logitech wheels have that the Thrustmaster ones don't, and vice versa that I didn't include? Let me know that as well down below. Also, consider subscribing if you're into all types of sim racing content. But anyways, with all that being said, thank you all for watching, stay safe, and as always, have a fantastic rest of your day.